here we are. I've got Anne here. She's brought some difficult trees to challenge me. And you want to make this Cotoneaster into?
A cascade.
Cascade, okay. So let's show you what we can do. As I always say, you can make bonsai out of anything. So a cascade has a head and a tail. So this is what we call a virgin tree. Nothing has been done to it. So let's see what we can get out of it. And I always see the potential. So because a cascade has a head and a tail, I'm looking for the tail portion, the cascading bit. This can be the cascading bit, or this can be the cascading bit, whatever. And the thing is to create a head as well. Without the head, the cascade doesn't look convincing. So I think this could probably be the tail, because the head is only a small portion. Okay, so that's a difficult decision, but I've taken that very quickly. So let's see what we can get out of it. We probably don't need it that long. Take it out of the pot. So if I make this the tail, I want to make that the head. So I'm going to give the body of the tree a fairly interesting shape. You usually have in your mind some ideas to what the shape is going to be. So it's going to have a little head and a tail coming down. Also, this trunk is very, very straight. I'm going to make it more interesting by giving it a little more shape. This sucker here, which is growing at the bottom, I don't really need that because it's in the way of the trunk. So let's try and give the trunk a little shape. How did you see this tree turning out to be? Did you have any idea?
Sorry?
Did you have any vision or image of the finished product?
No, not really. I've tried and tried. I know you're supposed to have a triangle in some way.
Yeah.
And I kept looking at it and thinking about it, but I just had to bring it to you.
Okay. See, this is the sort of thing I normally do on a workshop, but as you know, the workshop, there are 200 people waiting for workshops because during the lockdown we cancelled 14 months of classes, and each month I used to do 20 people over 2 classes each month. So the backlog of 200 people waiting to do to make it interesting. So this is the cascading portion. Now I'm going to do a little bit to the top portion. It's far too long. They say I work at lightning speed, but I'm not doing any magic, you know, there's no magic involved.
Why is it unusual? I didn't realise that.
There's a lot cascading, and we don't often use this variety for cascade. Cascades are usually done with pines and junipers. Very seldom do we use deciduous trees for cascade. That's just by tradition. You don't have to. But there's always a first time. So let's find the right gauge of wire. As I always say, finding the right gauge of wire is very important. You use the wrong gauge of wire, you're like fighting against the wind. Okay, so I'm now going to create a little head. Every cascade has a head and a tail. How good is your wiring? Do you do much wiring?
I try.
See, wiring is at the heart of all bonsai creation. If you understand your wiring, then you know the world completely opens out for you. If you are not good at wiring or afraid to wire, then you will struggle, because wiring literally transforms the shape into anything you want. and you will see why.
Oh, there's the triangle.
Yeah, all right.
Love it.
So that's it,
Oh, that's lovely.
before and after.
Yeah, that's so different.
Okay, so we put it in a pot, that's not a problem. I'll get Teemill to do it, and then this one I will do very quickly. This is Hedging Honeysuckle.
Yeah.
Hedging Honeysuckle is also a good material to use for bonsai. You've grown this from a cutting, have you?
No, I just happened to bonsai it. It just happened to be in a pot for about 10 years, and then I realised it was being bonsaied because it was just in
So
the
this
pot.
has
'Cause
been
they
in
grow
the,
very fast.
it's
don't
been
they?
in the
They get
pot for
really
over
big.
10 years, has it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very... So at the moment it's just a blob, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah.
You don't want a blob. You want some semblance of branches so that it looks like a tree. And although this looks stiff, if I use thick enough wire, I'm still able to bend it. If I can just look for some scrap wire here, pardon me, let me just get into there. I'll find a bit of scrap wire and try and bend that trunk for you.
Does it? Do the roots lend themselves to go over rocks?
Don't bother too much. You can gradually expose it, but it can be done. Anything can be done. Let me find the right length of wire. Try and recycle all my wire. Now, this looks pretty stiff, but I'm sure I can get an S shape out of it. Huh?
Oh, brilliant.
So this is where, as I say, if you understand wiring, wiring can literally transform the tree. So don't be afraid to wire. Learn to wire properly. So most of the classes you would do with me, I always emphasize on practicing wiring.
I'm 201 on your list.
Okay. Now, if you speak nicely to my PA, she'll probably bring you forward in the list. I think she's very protective of me because everyone wants to jump the list, jump the queue. Okay, so I put the wire on and I'm now trying to bend it and not break it. Let me find another piece of wire without wasting too much wire. Oh. I want to find just the right length, otherwise if I cut unnecessarily I'll be wasting wire. Okay, I may have to waste a bit. Okay, so because it's so stiff, I'm going to put a double coil of wire, and then it should be able to give me a very, very tight and interesting bend.
Is that what makes it look windswept?
No, 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 I'm just going to give you an S shape,
Oh, okay.
traditional S shape. So what is a blob will turn out to be a tree with recognizable branches.
Lovely.
As we say, I'm not doing magic or anything, it's just simple wiring. We've got some other YouTube fans here as well. What are your names?
Just a couple, James and
Anna.
Oh, okay. Have you been trying to do some bonsai as well?
oh yeah, we've done a bit. I have a small patch here that I did earlier on this year.
Oh, the Christmas trees,
Another
yeah?
patch, yeah.
Good.
Didn't hang any balls from it though.
Yeah.
And then we're looking to get a smaller sort of Dishergia maple.
Okay, good.
I bought a little red maple last time I was here.
They're gorgeous,
Love
aren't
it.
they? Yeah.
Okay, so I've done some wiring there. Now, moment of truth, let's take away some of this debris. As we say in bonsai, one of the fundamental principles is less is more. Less is more. Don't be afraid to cut. Can you see the shape emerging?
Yeah.
S shape,
Yeah.
traditional what we call informal upright shape. So I've created branches. The branches are there, it's just that it needs to be brought out. I always think that bonsai and the analogy with ordinary life is there. You know, it's like anything. You can bring out the potential in a person, in a tree, whatever. So we're bringing out the potential here. It's all hidden. You know, these will grow from cuttings again. They are very easy to strike from cuttings, but the ones we grow are usually very, very thick. We have hedging honeysuckle with 4-6 inch diameter trunks. That's when the tree becomes interesting. Can you now see the S shape?
I can.
Okay. So out of that ball shape, I have now got something out. And it looks more like a bonsai rather than like a blob.
Yeah.
So just maintain that shape by constant pruning. There you are. When you get more branches, you can wire it more. So you can put it in a bonsai pot like that, and you got a bonsai out of that.
Okay.
All right?
What kind of pot, Mr. Chan? One of the traditional.
All right. Okay. Thibaut, can you do us a favor, please? This is Anne. You did some of her trees last time.
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
The
So-
scenery right up the pine.
Did I? Right.
Yeah. So can I ask Thibaut kindly to put this in one of those tall cascade pots, you know, I
Yeah.
think those blue or whatever pots. And then if you put this in any sort of rectangular pot or even plastic pot, and then
Yeah.
do a final picture of, after the thing is done, we'll take another video. So hope you've enjoyed that.
Yes, very much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So here we are. The tree is finished and it looks quite different from what it did originally. And it's what we call a classic cascade shape. And if we can have the other tree placed next to it, I'm going to show you what we did with the blobby tree, which is now an informal upright. And if I can, I'll just ask Sue, are you happy with what you've...
I'm very
See?
happy. I'm ecstatic. We've just transformed them. They're,
Okay.
they're beautiful. I love it.
I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to